All right. Ray, do we have any callers on the line only?
We do not at this time.
Okay.
All right, live feed is up and running.
Okay, I got about a little less than a minute here. We can go ahead and hit the 7 o'clock hour.
Okay.
And here comes Nathan.
All right, as soon as he settles in, you can get going, Kelly, after he settles in and gets on.
Okay. Can you hear everybody, Nathan?
I can.
Excellent.
All right, perfect. All right, let's call the meeting to order. And if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, I'd like to welcome everybody to I guess this will be the third rendition of a Zoom meeting for the monthly planning commission meeting. This is going up on YouTube and will be recorded and I guess probably saved on the website for posterity's sake, probably. Just a couple reminders. We're going to do roll call votes again, like we've done the last two Zoom meetings. So Kim, if you would, we'll do roll call votes every time. And so everybody, nobody's muted, so just be kind of aware if you have some background noise, everybody can hear it. So just kind of be aware that there's other people listening. So, all right. So at this point, we have an agenda. I believe there was an amended agenda sent out yesterday, maybe.
That's correct. Yes, yesterday an agenda was sent out amended, and it just added a co-township farmland agreement
Okay.
to the agenda.
So we have an agenda. I would accept a motion and support for this agenda. And also, when you do make a motion and support, please state your name.
Dyer, so moved as amended. Rogers, support.
Okay, Kim, could we have a roll call vote?
Yeah, Kelly, Kim's not with us tonight. She's at a funeral, so Ray is pulling the roll call votes for us.
Oh, okay. Ray, have at it.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Silker,
Yes.
Commissioner Nyer,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton,
Yes.
Commissioner Bean,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rogers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Agenda's approved. So the minutes from our last meeting, take a few minutes. I've looked them over and I would entertain a motion and support.
This is Silker. I move that the minutes of the last meeting be approved as presented.
Vogel seconded.
Okay. Ray?
Commissioner Silker,
Yes.
Commissioner Nyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Bean,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rogers.
Yes.
And motion carried.
Right. Liaison reports, ZBA, Mr. Vogel.
Okay. The ZBA held a meeting June 17th at 9 a.m. It was held electronically. It was for a variance 2001, and it was for Verizon Wireless in Gilmore Township. And we passed the variance 4-0. That was all.
Okay, thanks. Parks and Rec.
We have had no meeting of Parks and Recs since our last meeting of the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Board of Commissioners.
Board of Commissioners did not have a meeting this week. That was every year we usually take the first Tuesday after the 4th of July off, and this was the first Tuesday after the 4th of July. Coming up on our next agenda, what I understand is we're going to try to hold a public meeting at Commission on Aging. I've not gotten anything finalized on that yet, but that may be a possibility, our first public meeting. Possible discussion of land purchase. Let's see what else going on. Budget discussions are underway. I haven't heard anything yet back on that. I'll probably have more to just talk about on our next meeting. Got a late text or late email today in regards to the latest COVID situation in Isabella County. We've had an outbreak apparently of, I believe it was 7 people attended a Littlefield Lake sandbar party. And they apparently after that went to another party where there was 150 plus people. So that is a situation ongoing in Isabella County. I don't know how much of the remainder of those folks are in Isabella County, but also there was apparently, it's going to be put out too, apparently another case at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, an employee there. So 2 separate situations, both of them pretty serious. Just goes to show again, just reminders. I'm sure everyone's doing this. Facial coverings, 6-foot distancing, washing your hands either with disinfectant or soap and water, just using good common sense. Again, we'll know more coming up in the near future as far as the county's going with how we're going to progress with the budget. Our county administrator is off currently right now on a medical leave. She'll be back anywhere from the next 1 to 2 months probably. So hopefully we get her back sooner than that. But right now our Nicole Frost, our deputy administrator, is the acting administrator, just as an update. And that's all I have.
Right, thank you. Township concerns, we'll skip them until the public comment period, which I guess that brings us to the public comment period. Is there anybody waiting out listening on a telephone, Ray?
At this point in time, we do not have anyone that is on the meeting for telephone.
Okay.
Kelly, a real
Yes.
quick announcement. We did have Jackie Curtis, representative from Denver Township that normally attends our meeting. She had indicated that she was going to try to be on and watch on YouTube tonight, the meeting, but she did want us to report for her that all is good in Denver Township at this time.
Okay, good. Well, if there's nobody, nobody listening on phone calls, I think we can move on past the public comment period. Okay, which brings us up to our first public hearing for special use permit 20-06. Oh, Tim?
It's actually 2003. Kelly, I found we had an error on the sheet that we provided you. It's 20-03.
Okay.
This is a special use permit request. The applicant is an Amy Rodriguez, who is on, I believe, as well as John Garber with Verizon. Property owner is Larry Sheffert. This is Gilmore Township, Section 27. Property location is 7866 North Wynn Road. The applicant has submitted an application for special land use for a communication tower. A little background on this. We saw this same request back in 2017. We had approved this request at that time. We had no public comment during that meeting and did give an approval. However, Verizon had to back up, and they had some other things that they had to shake out. The permit unfortunately expired on them, so they're back in front of us for a reapplication. As Mr. Vogel had announced, the Zoning Board of Appeals had a hearing in June. That was for this application. There were 2 variances back in 2017 that they had applied for that were approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they've been through that process in June. So this is basically an application of which a communication tower is being proposed to be located at that address or at that location, 7866 North Wynn Road. The applicant has provided all of the necessary information, various maps, a site plan of the request. They've approved and provided us, I believe Ray's putting that site plan up. They provided us with a copy of all their FAA and FCC compliances. They provided us with a bond, which still is active for this site. And they did obtain their variances for sections 1205 H6 and H7 of the ordinance. Staff has done a full review on the application. It appears to be complete and have no issues with the site plan or the special land use request. We've posted our signs on the property and prepared notices as required by state law and ordinance. The only comments we would make, and these are similar comments to what we made previously, was the request for these towers. We have a 8 to 8 restriction on our special land use permits unless otherwise noted by the Planning Commission, being that this is an unmanned operation and it's a 24/7 operation. We just need to have a motion maker, whoever that is, to include the 24/7 operation. And then one additional condition that we have for the application is for the applicant to provide us with the driveway permit from the Isabella County Road Commission. As you can currently see, Ray has a copy of the site plan up. It basically sits back off of Wynn Road, approximately, I think it was 400 feet-ish, somewhere in that range. Meets all of its fall zone criteria, including the information that was obtained through their variance process. So staff doesn't really have anything more on this. I don't know if you have any questions for staff before you open it up to the applicant.
I don't. Does anybody else have any questions for Tim? All right, would representative from the applicant like to add anything to this?
Yes, hi, this is Amy Rodriguez. I'm with Telecat. I'm representing Verizon and APC Towers. And as has been mentioned, we had submitted an identical application in 2017, which was approved. And then the project got put on hold and we had some, regulatory and environmental issues that needed to get approvals on. And we have now obtained all of those. And as you can see from the propagation maps, there is a need for coverage in this area, and this tower will fill in those gaps and provide the service that is needed without interfering with any of the existing towers in the area. I would say we will be, we're waiting for approval from the Planning Commission to apply for our driveway and building permits. And as soon as we have those, we will provide those to you. And in regards to the 24/7 operation, nobody is on site. They come out about once a month just to test equipment during business hours. Unless there was an emergency, nobody would be on site outside of business hours. So, but obviously you need 24/7 service of the wireless. So that's, and I think that covers it. We, nothing has changed since the original application. Everything else is in order, and we did have all the FAA and FCC approvals. I don't believe a notice was required for the FAA. So we just are respectfully asking your approval of the site plan and special use permit for this project.
Right, thank you. Any questions that commissioners might have for Ms. Rodriguez?
I have a question.
Jim?
On the tower, will there be a light or any type of illumination at the top of the tower?
No, because it's under 200 feet, the FAA does not require it. So it won't be required on this project.
Now, do other Verizon towers in the area that are the same size, or are there any other, A, is there any other towers the same size, and B, do those have lights or illumination, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of. The closest tower, I believe, is 2.5 miles away, and I'm not aware of any that are under 200 feet that we've had to put lights on.
Yeah, Jim, most of the towers these days from the communication companies, Verizon's, AT&T, Sprint's, them guys, they're all building at 199 just underneath that 200 because the FAA does not require them to light that tower for aviation purposes.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, well, I guess at this point, we can open the meeting for public comment, but Ray, I take a look. Is there any public to comment?
There's no public that are in the meeting on the phone.
Okay, so we'll close that. And at this point, I would entertain a motion and support.
This is Nair. I move that we approve the special use permit 20-03, provided that the applicant provides a copy of the driveway permit from Isabella County, and they have access to it 24/7 for business hours.
All right, support. All
Vogel would second.
right, any discussion around this?
Just a question, clarification, if I may. Is this for both special land use approval and site plan approval? This
Yes,
motion?
it is.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's no other discussion, Ray, if you do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rogers,
Yes.
Commissioner Bean,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Nair,
Yes.
Commissioner Silker,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and consideration. We appreciate it. And hopefully the intent is for this tower to go up this year still. So keep our fingers crossed. If nothing goes awry, that should happen. Thank you
All right,
very
glad
much.
to hear it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to, we have a non-public hearing about a co-township farmland agreement, a PA 116 agreement.
Yeah, so this is one of the consensus item agreements that come in front of us, the PA 116s or the farmland agreements. This came from Co-Township to us late, which is why we got it to you a little late. The application's for just under 60 acres in section 30 of Co-Township. The application and maps were included yesterday for you. Property is currently being used for agricultural purposes and is zoned and planned for agriculture in Co-Township. The application appears to be complete and is for a period of 90 years. Staff, these are typical consensus items. There is a little, as you can see, a little bit of PA 116 contracted land to the east of it. There's some bigger blocks in and around it. But this is something that is just a consensus item for our review and comment back to them. Staff does not have any additional comments. If there are none from the commission, we'll go ahead and forward this back and let them know that staff has reviewed or that the planning commission has reviewed the request tonight.
Did you say 90 years is what these
It
are
is.
for?
It's a
Really?
90-year contract.
Are they all that way, or is this?
All
the
over, they're
exception?
between 10 and 100. I think it goes up to 100 if I remember correctly.
90 is the maximum, Tim.
90, 10 and 90 then is
10 to 90.
I think the min is that. Yeah, this one just happens to be a 90. Typically they're the minimums and they just renew them. But this one's a 90.
Okay. All right, so consensed. I guess if there's no other discussion. All right, back to public comment again. Is there any public waiting to comment?
There is no public.
Okay. Staff comments.
Staff doesn't have any additional comments at this time.
All right, commissioner comments. Ann, anything to add?
You're muted.
Okay, I guess any other commissioner comments? I guess I don't need to go through everybody by name. That's kind of, if,
I have a question, Phil Vogel.
yes.
How are they coming on the wind turbine project?
You know, I don't know the number that they have in the air, but they're plugging away. I mean, they're putting them up. I know they have quite a few, 6 or so on the one side of the highway. I believe there's 4, 5, 6 on the other side. There's quite a few stubbed out, ready for the uppers to go on. I met with them last week. We're working on some addresses and went and visited a few of the sites. Seems to be everything's in line moving forward as they need.
Are you hearing any public comment from property owners nearby?
No, we've
Tim
heard
or Ray?
nothing. Have not heard a thing.
I've gotten a few comments from people locally that are upset about how close they really are now that they are up. One guy's down the road on Vernon Road from me, and it's right in his backyard, and the thing just towers over his house. And it just, I told him to contact your office and express any grievances that may come up.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I don't think you have, Ray. We talked about it last week.
No, we had no calls.
I don't think I've heard a comment since the last site plan last September.
Okay. I'll continue to just tell people to call in and express their feelings and move on
Sure.
from there. But
Sure, that's fine.
are they talking about expanding the field at all at this point? Or are they staying put with what they're doing?
As far as this project, they're done with this project. I haven't heard anything additional for this project.
A friend of mine's on the Wise Township Planning Commission, and he said Albert was into the meeting the other day trying to convince them to create a new act or rule so that they can go into Wise Township as part of this.
Well, I've heard some discussions that there is a project going possibly over into Midland County or something like that, and I think that Wise might be pulling up with that. But there's been, I mean, Wise isn't us, so we wouldn't have it.
Understand.
But I haven't heard anything further than that.
There's just a lot of people are surprised how tall they are at that 585-foot dimension.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right. I guess at this point, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Horton.
Second,
Second.
Nair.
Okay, Rave,
Commissioner O'Neill,
Yes.
Commissioner Silker,
She's muted.
she's muted, but I did see her shake her head up and down.
Okay.
Commissioner Nyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton,
Yes.
Commissioner Bean,
yes.
and Commissioner Rogers.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, meeting
All right.
is adjourned. See you next month.
Yeah, see you
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Take care.
Have a good night.